Slayers, let's go, babies. It's Friday, best day of the week, January 26th, and we hope everybody is doing phenomenal. And thank you for tuning in. It is a brand new Slay Station, and we got a great show lined up for y'all. We're talking all about lady anglers, lady slayers, sladies in tournament fishing and in the fishing industry itself. We have two great guests I cannot wait for our audience to meet. But first off, before we bring them in, we have some comments going on here. We got Ed Munoz in the house. Woo! Hey, good luck tomorrow. The Slay Nation season pops off tomorrow in Georgia, right? For the 2024 season. This is our 6th season with Slay Nation. So good luck, Ed. Wish you the best. Martin's Custom Baits in the house. What's up, Steve Martin? Go check out some of the best spinner baits and wire baits on the market, right? We got Facebook users in the house, right? Hey, if y'all don't mind, if you're watching from Facebook or YouTube, share, like, comment, follow us. That'd be phenomenal. We also want to thank our great sponsors. You want to start right here with SFO, Sport Fishing Outlet. Our college kayak series director, Jake Stem, stopped in, all right, their shop today on his way to the Ike Foundation dinner tonight. So awesome. Go check out SFO, okay? Tackle, we have Black Hole Outfitters, the official kayak outfitter of Slay Nation. They ship anywhere in the country, and they're one of the leading Old Town dealers in the country as well, right? Dark Horse Tackle. You're going to notice I got my new Dark Horse Tackle t-shirt on, and one of our guests will does as well. And then we have Martin's Custom Baits. Go check out martinscustombaits.com. Okay. Down below, we have some presenting sponsors like X-Zone Lures. Heat your meat. You already know it. You know Heat Your Meat. Go get some. Everybody can use it. Slayin10. Discount code. We got Stoneman & Son Lures, custom baits. You like custom airbrush stuff and everything else, swim baits, glide baits, whatever you like, go check out Stoneman & Sons. The Rod Glove just came out with a new product called the Graph Glove. So if you have graphs on your rig, now you can protect it. Okay. Hook Set Hoodlums. Ryder Collide. Go check out hooksuphoodlums.com. They have all different types of apparel. They have winter hats right now, which is great for anybody in the cold weather climates. Okay. Sweatshirts, t-shirts, sun shirts, hoodies, awesome stuff. Tank tops for the summertime too. Harmony Fishing Tackle, or Harmony Fishing, not tackle. Harmony Fishing Company, right? Which is the official hook of Slay Nation. Go check them out. I'm telling you right now, you will like some of the products that they have. Guarantee it. And Omnia Fishing. But without further ado, let's bring on our two special guests. And they were both slayers. I'll tell you right now, I know they both can fish. We're going to bring on Cheryl Bentley, our Lady Slayer director, and Susie Roloff, who is the education and safety coordinator. Did I get that correct?
Yep.
That's right. See, of the Women's Fishing Federation. Good evening. How are you, ladies?
Good.
Yeah, good. It's Friday night, right? And I know that Cheryl is in New Hampshire, so I know it. There's some snow up there, hopefully.
Rain tonight.
Rain tonight. Okay, sounds like Connecticut. And then Susie's in Illinois, and not snow all washed away, correct?
Yeah, we've had a lot of rain the last couple of days. It's been kind of misty and it's been really foggy. So it's the Midwest for you. If you don't like it, stick around. It'll change.
All right. Sounds familiar. Well, listen, I'm really excited. It's great to see you on, Susie, right? I've known you for quite some time now. I'll never forget when you Paddle and Fin podcast. For anybody, go check out Paddle and Fin. That was the first podcast I was ever invited on. This was when I first started Slay Nation, so 2019. And you're a part of the crew, right? And I remember that's how I met you, was through that. So I'm really excited to talk to you and see what's been going on in your life. I know you are busy, and we'll get into that, right? So we could take a breath of fresh air and just relax, hopefully tonight. And Cheryl, we're definitely going to dive in. You have been really busy as well, because not only are you out there slaying and directing now, you lots of art stuff going on, which I would love to talk about. And so, but we have an audience tonight who some have probably heard of you, majority maybe not. So I want you all to just kind of introduce yourselves, give a little background, so that people can follow us on this journey tonight. So Susie, why don't we start with you?
All right. So yeah, I'm Susie Roloff. I currently live in Pekin, Illinois. If you're not sure where that's at, it's kind of near Peoria. We are like about 2.5 hours south west of Chicago, if that gives you a reference for the state.
Okay.
But I have been kayak fishing since roughly 2013. It was actually my husband that kind of kickstarted it for me. He took me to a fishing show and I saw Hobies there and I was hooked from that point. I got started with the tournaments in 2014. I joined with Great Lakes Kayak Fishing Series with them for their events, and they were all multi-species to begin with, so that was pretty interesting. And then in let's see here, it was 2016, I joined KBL, which is Kayak Bass League. And I was kind of doing 2 different tournament leagues at the time. And in 2016, I had qualified for the 2017 KBF National Championship. I had no idea what that was. I didn't know who Chad Hooper was, anything like that. I was just like, oh, cool, a national event. Let's do it, right? And it was on Kentucky Lake, March of 2017. I'd never been there. No idea what I was doing. Yeah. And out of 375-ish anglers, 2-day event, not only did I get my PB on day 2, I got 11th place.
Whoa, let's go. Hell yeah.
So, yeah, that kind of put me on the radar a little bit right there. And then, so like since then, I've kind of been, doing a lot of things, getting really involved. I joined the Paddle and Fin podcast in 2019. Been with those crazy goofballs ever since. And let's see here, Women's Fishing Federation. They had their very first event in 2019 as well. And so I've been going with them ever since. Have had some sponsors since 2019, 2020. So it's been a wild ride.
I was going to say, anything else? Anything else?
I'm sure there's probably more, but we'll kind of keep that juice for later.
Oh my God. You are a busy girl. You are fully indulged.
That's right.
In the fishing tournament scene. And you seem happy. And that's what it's all about.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome. I love it. All right, Cheryl. Now it's your turn, girl.
All right. Well, as Frankie said, I'm the Lady Slayers online series director. I'm going into, I think it's the 2nd year directing, but my 3rd year fishing it. I'm relatively new to tournament fishing. I've been fishing a very long time, but I didn't get into bass fishing until maybe in the last 6-7 years, like really into bass fishing. And then tournament fishing, very new, just the last 3 years. And thank you actually to both of you, because I fished the Lady Slayers and then Paddle and Fin Bass Fishing for Noobs. And that's how I had met Susie. And I did pretty good that year. I got to go down to Dale Hollow in Tennessee and meet Susie and her crew, Paddle and Fin crew. So, that was it was such a fun time. I didn't know I was competitive. I didn't know I would like fishing competitively, but I do. I love it. It's so much fun. And I love directing. I just love seeing those catches come in and the ladies so excited and posting their fish. And I think I get as much enjoyment watching that as actually fishing them. It's fun.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Awesome. All right. Yeah, it's fun until you get 200 submissions and you're like, I don't want to see another fish again. One thing,
Well,
here's what I'll say. One thing about any tournament director out there that judges, and if you use like Tourney X, right, or Fishing Chaos, but we like Tourney X, and is like the amount of feet you get to see. I'm sorry, like, dude, like I see, right? Like, you know, if you're directing, if you host an onliner or whatever it might be, you're like, oh my God, dude, I know what everybody's feet look like right now. I know who needs to cut
yeah, you
them,
see some
and
stuff.
who needs a chain, who needs a chainsaw. Like, I'm sorry, like that's like, I hate to say it, but like, if it comes up and I got to judge something, I start, I'm like, damn, my man's got like, we got to do something. I think we got to look for a new, like a John Deere sponsor. We got to weed whack this sucker. Like, I start cracking up. I start always cracking up, but I don't know. I don't know what made me think of that, but when Cheryl was
No,
talking about judging the
yeah,
fish,
you see stuff besides the fish. You just
I mean, it's funny. Sometimes you see, you're like, oh wow, look at that paint job. All right, she got a good. I don't know. What's a pedicure? Is that foot? Yeah, pedicure.
yeah,
Right? Oh, she got a good pedicurist.
manicures.
Whatever. But yeah, it's just funny. Just that's only what a director or judge would know. Oh my God. Eddie Murphy movie Boomerang. Oh, that's funny. All right, cool. Well, so the really cool thing is, right, what both of y'all were talking about, and is when you're describing your tournaments, like fishing tournaments, all I hear are happy things, right? And like how it's basically when you get involved with this, it starts to become part of your life. It's like a lifestyle almost. We all have seen it, right?
Absolutely.
You all have, we have seen this progress, whether it is the kayak industry, which is right the fastest growing one at this point. And then you have the big boat world, and you have like, you know, the John boat. So it's like really cool. You kind of like find your little niche, right? Or you're a bass fishing fan. Like I just love all of it. Right. I love all of it. The pro stuff, the kayak stuff, the John boat stuff, all of it. The boat builds. I love it all. But it's like, this is like, there's no better time right now than to be like a bass fishing fanatic. There's so much out there. There's so many opportunities to get involved. It's just, where do you find it? Right? Where do I go? And all it takes sometimes is bumping into the right person in a supermarket, in a Bass Pro Shops, in a tackle shop. And next thing you know, you're checking out a website and you're like, what's this? And you go down this hole and you're finding, next thing you know, you find this whole community that you're like, this is freaking awesome. Right. And there's so much out there. Like there really is right now. There's so much out there for so many of us. It's great to see this sport growing the way it has in the last, whatever, let's just say 5 years. Okay. And with that evolution of the sport, right, there's more women getting into fishing than ever before, and that is because there's other women that are getting it that are inspirational, right? And it's like, okay, um, maybe I do have the guts to go fish a tournament and learn how to do this, right? And then there's other, and then they tap into those resources. So it's like, it's really good that there's ladies like yourselves out there that are just willing to just take that risk, because it is a male dominated sport. We all know this, right? It always has been. So it's great to have these guides per se to get in there and say, I don't give a shit. I'm going to go fish, right? I'm going to go fish. And next thing you know, you love it. And now you're hooked. And so like, talk about that. Like, Susie, what made you get into tournament fishing? Did you talk to someone? Was it like, hey, I found this club, I'm just gonna go? Or like, were there, like, what kind of like inspired you to like take that leap from like just the fun fishing stuff? Because that's a big leap. I don't care who you are. Like, we all been there. I was a non-boater. Like, when I got into tournament fishing, I'm not going to say co-angler, because to me, co to me means you're teamed up. And you're not teamed up as a co-angler. You're a non-boater. I'm a non-boater. I did it for 7 years in the ABA, American Bass Anglers. And I'll never forget the first tournament I went to. I was so intimidated. I was the only guy that didn't have a boat, right? And it's my first tournament. I felt like, I'm the guy that came out of my car with the 10 rods wrapped around a backpack with the baits. And I'm rolling up, and all these guys got skeeters and Rangers. And I was scared. like I was I don't know, at that time I was 29, 30, whatever. And I was intimidated. So I can only imagine how it might feel for, right, a woman, all these guys and looking at you, probably like, oh, she can't fish. What is she, right? I don't know. But Susie, how did you take that leap to like say, screw this, I'm gonna go check this out?
So it was just kind of all more by chance. So when my husband took me to a fishing show, a local place here in town, that had like boats and stuff like that, there was a hobie dealer there, and at the time I was currently fishing just out of like a sit-in little Pelican kayak,
Let's go. I like Pelicans.
right? I mean, you all start somewhere, right?
That's right.
And so I was really enjoying like kayaking adventure, and then like I had just started dabbling in like the fishing world. Although like I've done fishing before, I would do our state has like a trout opener the third weekend of October every year, and so I would go and do that, and I absolutely loved it. And so then a friend had gifted me one of his extra kayaks, because I mean he had 4 of them and he never used them. He's just like, here, have this. I'm like, okay. And so when we went to the fishing show and whatnot, they had the Hobies there, and like I saw what they could do, and I had never done any research or anything like that. I saw it, I saw what it could do, and I was like, I must have that right now. But then I saw the price tag and I was like, okay, maybe not right now. But in a few months, once I saved enough money and whatnot.
Yeah.
So that was like in March. And then in June, I think it was like June or sometime like that, I drove up to the dealer and picked it up, and they had a flyer there for a kayak fishing tournament. And so I was really intrigued. I was like, how does that work? Like, what is this?
Yeah.
And the main guy, Colin Bell is his name. I can't remember how it went, but I was like, hey, how does this work? What do I need? Type of thing. And I was like, okay, well, I'll try competing in one of them. And I think it was just that year. I think it was June or July, went back up there because they had a tournament, and it was for bass. And at the time, it was for any bass. So like the hybrids, largemouth, smallmouth,
Okay.
And I only caught one fish. It was a hybrid, but it was a really interesting experience. But like at that time, looking back at how I was then and how I am now, I was like, I was totally not aware of anything, like, especially like, I wasn't thinking about, maybe how like men are viewing me because I'm the only woman and whatnot. I was just more focused on what the hell am I doing?
Yeah.
Trying to figure out fishing and everything.
Yep.
And so then like I got more interested in it because I was like, oh yeah, this is a really cool event. I want to know more. I want to learn more. And I had reached out to Colin again, and he's like, oh, well, you know what? We could use some more people on our staff. How about next year you come on, be on the board with us? I was like, okay. So I kind of dove a little head first deep in when it all got started. But I mean, like it was probably for the better, because I mean, I found, I just gained so much knowledge and input and everything, and there wasn't Armando. I know that dude.
There he is. That's the Ricky Ricardo of kayak fishing.
Yeah. But like the first year or two that I was on there, like I never really like thought about like the impact or like women aspect or anything like that. But my very first year being on staff and being involved with tournament fishing, I really got the full-on experience because and I know a lot of tournament directors, like it's a rare thing to have it happen, but we experienced the death of an angler. Yes, yep. And so
during a tournament?
Yes.
Oh my God.
So it was the salmon fishing tournament held in September. It was up in Manitowoc, Wisconsin. And, it wasn't like too horrible of conditions. There was a decent amount of waves. I think like it might have been 2 to 3 waves, and then the wind was kind of booking, but it wasn't too bad. The sun was shining, but the water was still cold. I mean, like up there, even that time of year, it was probably 60s ish, something like that.
Okay.
And so the kid, he was 20, 24, 25. He was really young. Max Boheme was his name. And I was help running check-in. And I remember so clearly his mom had come up and said, "Oh, hey, yeah, is Max checked in yet? I haven't seen him around."
God.
And I was like, "Well, he hasn't checked in, but there's also a few other people who hadn't as well." I was like, "Well, we still have like 20 minutes or whatnot." I was like, there still people coming in. He'll probably, show up. Didn't really think anything of it. And the check-in deadline comes and goes. He's the only one who hasn't checked in. And so, I get a hold of the other guys. I was like, "Hey, man, like, he hasn't checked in yet. I think we, need to kind of look out, try to call him or whatnot."
Yeah.
The immediate search of the area. His vehicle and trailer were still in the parking lot. No boat on it. Looked around, tried calling him, went straight to voicemail, and we're like, okay, well, like, we need to go to the next step.
Yeah.
The marina we had like a boat, and so they just went out and just did like a quick search just to see if maybe he was late coming in, something like that.
Yep.
And no go from there. And so we initiated Coast Guard at that point. They brought the chopper out. They had their rescue boat go out right away too, and it was probably maybe 15 minutes after they went out, we heard them come over the radios and said that they had found an overturned kayak, and then they found him floating in the water kind of a little ways away from it. And they said that they were initiating CPR immediately, and like I knew it wasn't going to be good.
Oh my God, that's every tournament director's nightmare.
Yes. Yeah, totally unexpected. He was wearing a PFD, but he was not wearing any sort of dry suit or wetsuit. I think he might have just been in shorts and a t-shirt, because it got like maybe high 60s that day, maybe low 70s. I mean, and a lot of people don't really think about some of these things sometimes. But anyway, they brought him in, and one of the other biggest things that I'll never forget either is he had a device on his life jacket. It was an EPIRB, an emergency personal identification response beacon or something like that.
Okay.
And when they looked at it, it was obvious that it had been activated, but it failed.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. That was definitely one of those holy shit moments, and like this just happened. And so since then, and that being like my first full year in tournament fishing,
Yep.
like safety has been like over like everything when it comes to fishing for me. I was just like, okay, you always got to be thinking of all the different factors, I mean, not 100%. So much to where it like consumes you or anything, but yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that was quite an experience. Would not recommend.
Yeah.
And then but anyway, so yeah, even regardless, I was like, yep, I'm hooked. I love it. We'll keep doing it. And just got more involved the next few years after that. And really got into it. 2017, the national championship is what kicked me off, and definitely kicked up my confidence, definitely. Yeah. And it probably really wasn't until like 2018, 2019 to where I really started to like stop and think of, okay, it just never really occurred to me that like I'm a woman in this male dominated sport, that should be like an important thing. I should try to like promote it and talk about it and whatnot. So it was, a few years later when I was like, oh yeah, because I was like, there's never any other women competing
Yeah.
that I see in any of my clubs or whatnot. So I was like, oh yeah, let's try to change this.
100%. Yeah, 100%. Cheryl, how about you?
Well, I'm still trying to get over Susie's story. I'm feeling really
I know.
sad on that. I am so
Yeah,
sorry you
yeah,
experienced that.
that
That's,
is yeah, it's a turn last year, our first tournament in one of our Connecticut kayak series. It was April. They started in April, still fairly chilly out in the water. I think, I don't know what the water was at that time, maybe high 30s, low 40s, maybe. I got a phone call saying, hey, Frank, we almost had an angler die today. And I go, this is at the end of the day. And I'm like, what? What are you talking about? And so the angler, his name was Mike, he got caught in like a microburst. You know what a microburst is? Like a weather front just moves in and it
yep,
windy out of nowhere. It was like,
yep,
miles an hour.
yeah, it was like bluebird skies. And he was trying to cross the middle of this. And it wasn't like a huge lake, just trying to cross, go to a new spot. And this microburst, right, pulls in and got choppy, pulls over to the side, is all fine, right? It like opened back up. It was weird, he said. And then as he's trying to go back, it like happened again. Funky, weird situation. And he was in I think an Ascend kayak, which you get those from Bass Pro. Probably not the best. I mean, it's not that horrible, but there are right better brands out there, whatever. And he capsizes, right? And he capsizes, and as he's trying to get flip his kayak back over, which I guess he did, his anchor system got snagged. And so it was like wrapped around his foot or something. He was having a hard time trying to get himself up. And now at this point, the cold weather is starting to stiffen his body up, right? And so he was getting really hard to get on top of his kayak. And he was telling me the story because I called him afterwards. And he got on his kayak and he laid on his back and he couldn't really move. He was starting to black out, I guess, he said. And he had his phone on his chest and he just hit it. And it was 911 and he hit it. And he was talking and he couldn't say complete sentences. And he was just like, Bantam Lake, kayak. And then he said he felt himself pass out. Right. And luckily, and so at check-in, right, so the director, they're all in and they're like, oh, where's Mike? Like, they see the truck and, they were like, what the heck? Maybe he's just whatever. Some people take a little while to get in and everybody had been at the ramp. And then, so next thing you know, as he was on top of his kayak like that, they were in front of a house, and there's a dad and the daughter were at the house, and they happened to look out their sliding glass door at the lake and saw him on his kayak like that, looking unnatural, right? Like who was laying there, like looking like they're tanning when it's April and in a microburst. And so they realized he was in distress. They hopped in a motorboat, right? Got him over. They brought him in, whatever, and they called. Lake Authority alarms went off, things like that, and they hit. Obviously he's fine now, but after that, I told the directors, I'm like, listen, you do a check in and check out, and you make sure, and if you feel like it's longer, you say, hey, I need everybody in at 2:20. Right. If you are more than 10 minutes later than that, you either call me, text me, because if we don't hear that, we're sending a search party out. We have to look for you. And that is, we need you to let us know that you are just safe. And that is like the worst nightmare for anybody, really, not even tournament director, but as a TD, sometimes you feel responsible no matter what the conditions were. Yes. You always will take that with your heart and just, how do you sleep at night after that? Right. How?
That guy is very lucky. Sounded like he was hypothermic after a certain point. And,
but anyway, because we're all going to start crying and getting depressed, and this is going to turn into the World Federation of Tears. Right?
I'm fortunate I have not experienced anything like that. And
knock on wood, we don't.
I've lost some gear and tackle, but. No people.
Exactly. But anyway, Cheryl, what took you? Because it seems like you're like fairly new to bass fishing, right? Because I know you're right. Because you're up in New Hampshire, you probably got some gorgeous trout stuff you can do. like, and you're like, you kind of like hopped right into the tournament scene almost pretty much. I mean, if you think about it, like
Yeah.
but what got you to that point?
Well, I mean, when I was younger, my dad loved fishing. He mostly fished for trout, but my family, we enjoyed the salt a lot.
Oh, nice.
Striper, bluefish.
Yeah.
And I got into deep sea fishing, bottom fishing. And then I had a canoe. My kids were older. I started taking it out and just catching stuff and loved it, and caught a bass, loved it more, and it evolved so fast after that first bass. It was just,
yeah, that's it.
And canoe to sitting, kayak to a sit on, to my now Hobie. I saw a Facebook post that just said, looking for members, New Hampshire kayak fishing anglers. It didn't even say bass.
Okay.
But that's what it was, bass. I didn't know. And like, I would love to join. I'm not sure if this is for me. And the director was super welcoming. He said, just come along. And I was so scared. I was just so scared because I didn't know anything. And I didn't even know, like, are we all together as a team? Are we competing against each other? Do we keep up?
You're like, we all won. We all won. This is great.
Yes, it was great. But yeah, it went so well. I did well. And I just remember it was a super quiet morning. The water was pretty still, and you could just hear like everybody. And you'd hear when somebody caught a bass, you just hear this splash. And like, all these people right now are loving what they're doing, and they're doing what I love. And I just felt it was the best.
Yeah.
So, that was my first in-person group, because I have been doing the online tournaments a bit. I just started those. I kind of hit everything at once real hard. It just accelerated.
You're like, screw it, I'm signing up for this thing. I'm signing up for that too.
Yeah. So,
I've
got the handful of online New Hampshire kayak anglers, the sleigh. There's a couple local sleigh trails. I'm an alternate for 603 kayak bass anglers.
Okay.
So I've just been meeting people. I was fortunate that there's a few ladies, really, really talented ladies that fish, that were in these groups. So
Tammy
Sanchez, Judy Richardson.
Yeah, Judy.
Ellie Mayo started about the time I started, and we're good friends now. And so they're not always there. Often I am the only female there, but it's not a big deal, because there's been, these women before me fishing in these groups, and there's it's been great. All the groups are just great people.
Yeah.
It's a good community.
Well, exactly. But you said, so my takeaway from what your story is important, right? You said, even though sometimes I was the only female angler there, I still felt like family, right? Because someone else, they were used to it. Somebody else already paved that way.
Somebody paved that road for me.
Right. But that's so important, though. It's so important. That's why, ladies like yourselves, it's so important. Like, we all need it. Doesn't matter what it is, right? It's important to see ourselves in someone else and be like, they can do it. I can do it. Or they did it. I want to try it. Like, let me try this. Let me see what I'm made of. Or, why am I afraid? I just got to go do it. Right. And then next thing you know, and next thing you know, well, that's the other thing too, is you never know when your actions will inspire someone, even when you don't think anybody's watching. Right. And that's what it's all about. And that's what this show tonight is all about, is like, what are you going to be like, what you two are doing? How does that trickle down to these little girls, right? Like that's the only way that, one, the sport is going to continue to grow, but two, to continue getting women into the sport of fishing, right? Like these little girls need something to look up to, these teenagers, whatever. I mean, look at, I don't know if you guys pay attention, but Scott Martin, his daughter, I think her name's Hillary. Scott Martin's a pro. His dad's Roland Martin, right? And Scott Martin's daughter now, I mean, she's like crushing it on the college scene. And I think her and her dad are now, are teaming up and doing something. I forgot. I didn't see the whole post. I know they had some big news, but like some other lady, I mean, maybe besides her dad, but no, actually now the whole damn family, they're superstars. I don't know if there's any woman that inspired her, but I hope there was somebody, Christine Fisher, somebody that she saw, right? Or any other women anglers that were before Christine Fisher, not many. But like that, now she's hopefully looks back and says, oh, I'm inspiring all these other little girls to get into fishing, right? They see I'm doing it. So like, it's so important that somebody has the guts to just do it, right? And so, and you two have done that, and you dove. I mean, Susie just said, all right, I'm coming in. At first, like, Susie was a director 2 months in a tournament fishing. Whatever you want, boss.
Pretty much.
Right, yeah, that's it. You're hooked. You're hooked now. And then you said something, Cheryl, obviously growing up with dad and getting into trout fishing, but you were like, hey, when I caught a bass, there was something a little bit different about catching a bass and getting hooked, right, with that.
Yeah.
And it's that green fish, damn it.
It was, I didn't really know anybody who fished for bass. I didn't know it was such a thing. And then when I had caught it, I didn't know what it was. So I researched it, and it just, I don't know what it is. It just got
there's something about it. It's just some addicting, it's Dwayne. What up, DW? Whatchamacallit? That's right.
Dwayne.
For anybody watching who doesn't know, I'm a I'm a phys ed teacher, so whatever. But we're doing we branded it called the EOC, the Exhibition of Curiosity, and students from our kindergarten all the way up to 8th grade are coming up with topics or subjects that they're curious about. And one student, yeah, you like that? That was branded right here. They wanted to call it something else, and I was like, no, we got to make this like real exciting, make them want to like really take a lot of pride into this thing, and we'll invite the parents in and all that. So we call it the EOC. So when I introduced it, I played the instrumental to OPP. You down with OPP? But I said, oh, who's down with EOC? Right. And that's how we introduced it. But today I'm with the student because it was hard for them to brainstorm some ideas. They all want to do like Roblox and these video games, and nothing against that. But we want them thinking outside the box, outside the Xbox. And one student, we had done the topic that we were just brainstorming was why do people become addicted to things, no matter what it is, right? And I was like, Henry, this is a great topic. We can really dive into this. And as we're all talking about this, and we all know it, this becomes very addictive. You know what I mean? Like getting into a club and feeling a part of it, and catching a bass, or just being just the energy around the morning at 4:30 in the morning. Everybody's hyped up and excited. Yeah. Some people are hungover. I get that, right? but the majority, you stroll up in the morning and say, hey, what's up, Henry? Hey, Frankie, what's going on? You got people wooing and whatever. And it's an addicting feeling to want to be a part of it, want to be a part of a national tournament, right? These Hobies and the KBFs and the Bassmasters. There's something about it, or just catching that fish, or not knowing what's looking at your lure and how to get them to bite it. There's like this unknown that's like addicting to it. And then you have all these lures coming out every year. Like we're screwed for life, guys.
That's a good screwed, though.
We're never going to leave. We're never going to leave this game, this sport. It's like, you can't. There's graphs coming out. Now you got guys with TVs on their damn kayaks. And it's like, I mean.
you can never get bored.
You can never get bored.
There's so many ways
It's
you can bring it
like
and dive into all the details and
you can never stop learning in this sport. You can
right,
Of
never
course not.
stop learning. There is always something new, new technique,
right.
whatever it is. And like, there's no better time to be in this sport than now. But also, as a female angler, there's more opportunities than ever before. And a great way to do that is to get into these kayak events, which I think is like the gateway, right? That's the easiest. Online events, kayak fishing events, or these
Yeah,
smaller grassroots. That is the gateway to getting your foot wet, becoming confident in yourself, and getting over any fears, whatever they might be. And then look at this: you're going to a KBF national event, and out of 400 people, you come in 11th. And it's like, and then you probably had some, guys like, "Whoa, who's this? You know, who's this chick? Who's this chick?" Right? And you're like, "Yeah, that's right, boy. Better watch out." Uh, and so it's like, but it's good, but it's fun, and so it's great to have these opportunities. And so, Susie, what I want to take this next step to is, what is the WFF? Like, how did that begin, and who contacted who and said, "Hey," I don't know if you were part of that conversation, or you were like afterward, like, "Hey, we need somebody." Oh, Susie, she's been doing this. Susie, you're kind of like an OG. You're kind of like the old, not old guy,
she
but the
is.
old gal, like in the,
Right.
not that you're old, you know what I mean? But I'm saying
She's
you're
the
like,
original.
you're seasoned in this sport, in this industry.
Yeah.
You've like dabbled in directing, podcasting, doing whatever, competing at like a big stage, local stage. Like, you got experience, girl.
Yeah. So the Women's Fishing Federation began in 2019, and it was founded by three ladies, Mel Isaacs, Christine Fisher, and Amanda Brannon. And, their main goal was to, have be advocates for women in fishing. They realized and saw that there was this opportunity to have this event and space for women in this sport, and it's not necessarily just for kayak fishing either, just women in fishing in general, whether it be bank fishing, out of a boat, fly fishing, deep sea fishing type of thing. They realize it's like, well, yeah, all the boys have their fancy clubs and everything. It's just like, we need to get women involved, and we need to get them in communities, and we need to provide them with opportunities such as, to help them, teach them about skills, and it could be anything from, how to bait a hook, learning what kind of clothing is the right clothing to wear on a rainy day. What is, all these different factors. And so they had their very first event, October of 2019, and they were down on Lake Taneycomo in Missouri. And there were a total of 50 ladies who went down there.
Nice.
And yeah, I mean, for the first event, it was awesome. And so it was awesome. It was so relieving and rewarding to see the fact that the amount of women that were there, and also the fact that there were all these women who are just crazy like me when it comes to fishing. It's just like, I'd start talking about lure or something like that, and they'd be like, yeah. And I'm like, oh, you're my people. And so it just, being able to be, a part of it too was really awesome, because, I'm trying to remember if I was asked to help out with it or whatnot. The very first year, I don't think I was, but I just kind of sort of jumped in and helped how I could. And so I was just like, okay, like, let me help, put a lunch together or something like that, and I had known of Christine, and I didn't know Amanda at the time. I had known Mel because she had met me, or heard of me, met me at one of the national championships. And so there were some ladies who I kind of knew of, but like had never met in person or anything like that. But it just was so awesome to be a part of that and to, help with it as well. And a little kind of history about me too is I've always kind of been in sort of a like education field in a sense. So I went to school for recreation, parks, and tourism, but my job right now is kind of like a administrative assistant type thing. So I'm not really doing what I went to school for, but hey.
I went to school for recreation and leisure. That's my bachelor's of science.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I'm kind of doing that, but not really.
Right. But I mean, I knew I always had a passion for the outdoors. That's how I've been since I was a kid. And then I've also been very passionate about, helping and teaching others. It did take me a few years to realize that I don't really like doing it for young kids. I kind of do better with adults, but
that's funny.
Adapted and whatnot. I used to do like backcountry camping and education and whatnot with kids for a while and whatnot. So, teaching and educating has been part of like what I've done. And so then they had asked, hey, for our 2020 event, do you want to help like volunteer to put on a class? I was like, yeah, absolutely. Well, then COVID came and kind of canceled all that. So we had to postpone things to 2021. But we were up in La Crosse for the official second event, Wisconsin. And, that was a lot of fun. Like just being, again, with a group of women and just teaching, them about skills and everything. Because it may not seem like I'm kind of a shy or introverted person, but I'm a very introverted person. But when it comes to fishing, I'm like a totally different person.
Yeah. That's because it's your comfort zone.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And being on podcasts and everything too has definitely helped me come out of my shell, build confidence in talking with people, talking to people, and whatnot. So it's definitely helped me along. But those three lovely ladies helped founded the Women's Fishing Federation. And we try to have a big yearly event each year, different locations around the country if we can. Okay. And so 2022, we were down on Lake Fork in Texas.
Okay.
Which was really cool. And if you want a kind of little insight as to kind of how goofy I can be, you can look through my Facebook or whatnot. But one of my little goals for being down there was to hopefully be able to see an alligator.
Oh.
And I had my GoPro going, and it's just a little itty bitty thing, and I was like, "Oh my god!" Like freaked out, like in a funny way, So
yeah.
That's kind of me in a nutshell.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yes.
You got to make it fun.
Yeah, good thing. Well, if it was a bigger alligator, it might have been a different outcome. You might have, right?
Maybe I still would have been excited, but then I would have been like, "Yeah, we might want to, back away or something."
Reverse. Like, is there reverse on this kayak? Yeah.
Right. And then this last year we were in it's like way southern Indiana. We had a much smaller group this time, but I mean it was awesome though because it felt more intimate, and it was great to be able to have like one-on-one like teaching sessions with people, if like, because sometimes even in a group setting, ladies might be intimidated still around other women to like ask questions, be like, I feel kind of silly for asking how to do this not. And I'm just like, I always tell people, I was like, there is absolutely no such thing as a stupid question.
Yep.
it just like, just ask away. Like, you are, I can tell you the same thing 1,000 times and it's not going to bother me at all. I would rather, somebody learn and fully understand something and then like gain knowledge and experience for that, whether I have to show it to them 100 times, this complicated knot or whatever, because I've had to do the same thing, like, not, I learned on my own. I didn't really have a lot of people teaching me and to help me when I started. And that's what I don't want for women in this sport. I want them to know, hey, you're not alone in this. Like, we have all these different resources. We have all these different awesome ladies. We have these events. We have these communities. And not just that, but like, people have created like their own little like subgroups, people have, I'm sure there's, not like official clubs or anything, but Facebook chat groups. I can't tell you how many of those I'm part of.
Yep.
So it's really awesome to be a part of that and to help, get this, get the women more involved in the sport, get them more aware of it, help them build their confidence, help them build on their knowledge and their skills. I mean, I'm still building on mine too.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's awesome.
Yeah, hell yeah. And what, Cheryl, did you do one of the events
through the WFF?
Yeah.
The online. I haven't done any in-person meetups, but
Okay.
I'm hoping to this year. And Susie, did you say you're doing more than one this year, or?
So we are doing a saltwater event in Texas in June.
I might do my best to join that one.
Oh shoot!
I unfortunately can't make that one. There's a lot of different
logistics,
things going on, and like, I want to do all the things, but I don't have that much PTO for all the things.
Yeah,
so, I kind of need to get paid too.
I know, right? That's you know what, that we're gonna touch upon that, but it's like, think about what you just said. So many people, like, it's like, I got work, like, I can't go fish and do this. It's like, guys, we all have jobs, like, like, we get so consumed with this sport. It's like, there's a whole nother real world over here.
So we did announce our dates and general location of our big event. We thought, since this will be the 5th official year of the WFF, we're going to go back to Missouri, and we're going to be on Table Rock Lake. And we are going to be having the event October 23rd through the 27th.
Nice. Maybe I'll aim for that one, because I definitely continue doing the online ones with you guys, and I would love to join an in-person one.
Oh, we would absolutely love to have you. We've got a lot of awesome stuff cooking right now. We've got some awesome sponsors coming on already.
Sweet.
One of the big ones being Z-Man.
Wow.
I saw that show. You guys had a show, what, maybe 3-4 weeks ago, and you had
yes.
Who was that? I forgot her name.
Gosh, I can't remember her name. I am so horrible with names.
That's all right. That's all right. Don't worry about it. But I just wanted to acknowledge I saw parts of that. I think there was a few women on that one. There was a nice little round table going on.
Yeah, so we had all of the members who are currently like a part of the Women's Fishing Federation. So it started with just the 3, but now we have evolved to more of us.
Nice.
So there's Amanda Brandon, Mel Isaacs, there's me, there's Katie Baca, Scylla Johnson, and Carol Wells. And we are kind of like the bigger foundation of WFF. Carol is our membership coordinator. Scylla is our event and volunteer coordinator. Katie, she is also we both host the every other week
Okay.
webinars, and she also does website administration, and she also does a lot of safety coordination and everything too. Mel is our tournament director, and then of course Amanda, she's also kind of like our big head honcho, like event coordinator type thing too. So
Okay. Ah, very cool. What a great evolution of like where it started, and you got three
yes,
board members basically, and then you're like, hey, it's time to expand. We got to bring on some more ladies in positions, and then it
hmm
starts to just continue to grow from there. And then and I'm sure as it continues to grow, you can probably do, and as you get more people involved, you start getting some of them to help host these uh,
yes,
live events, but you could do more throughout the country because you have more involvement. So it makes it much easier instead of like, that's a heavy load for 5 people that,
it is.
that all live in different parts of believe me, in Slay Nation, I would love to host a national event. I would love to. It's hard for me personally, right? With everything, right? Real life stuff, work and
Yeah.
family, to
And I
travel
mean,
and take a
yeah,
few days
think
off.
about it. Yeah, and WFF is a nonprofit too, So I mean, none of us are getting paid to do this. So I think a lot of people might sometimes forget about that because
Yeah.
and even tournament directing in itself. I mean, I'm lucky that every now and then I do get paid to judge tournaments.
Yep.
But for everything else, it is all completely volunteer time. Like,
Yeah.
we don't make a dime doing this. We're hoping to eventually maybe be able to be compensated if we can get enough sponsors, but we got to
100%.
get that point.
100%. It's a
Right.
lot of work. It's a lot of work.
It is. I
You
mean, when
know?
you think about it, I mean, like all the expenses around it, you have to work to, get sponsors to be okay, like we're going to get this dollar amount. Okay, well, that's only going to cover travel and food for volunteers. We need to get another sponsor who can, help us get merchandise and all this. There are so many working parts to not
Yeah.
only being a nonprofit, but running it too and
Yeah.
running events. Like there's so much work involved.
Well, that's true, and some people forget about that. And also, with sponsorship, as this sport grows, that's getting harder and harder
Yes.
to get, because what you're talking about, you're not talking about a sponsorship with a discount code. That doesn't help WFF grow. It's you need
Right.
money to do things,
Yes.
and that is with there's good and bad to everything, right? And the sport is growing, but everybody's looking at sponsorships too. So that company that you're reaching out to has already been punched in the face by 100 anglers, 100 companies,
Thousands
organizations,
of people.
and
Whether
I'm sure,
yeah.
y'all know now. You know when you're in that back end of things, you're like, this is a lot of phone calls, a lot of emails, and you might reach out to 10 companies, and it comes down to one agreement, right? That's just the way it works out sometimes, and so believe me, I understand. I get it. And then, but the good thing to that is you get real lucky when you find the right partnership. It's like we believe in what your products are doing. They believe in what your mission is, and when you have that long lasting, those are the best ones. Those are the best ones. And I'm sure that WFF has probably sponsors that have been with them since day one that they still have. Right. I guarantee it. And then some come, some go, and then you get some new ones.
Right.
And that's the way it is. But it's a daunting process.
It is.
It's not like also the most fun either.
Yeah. Yeah. And, getting experience with this, Lisa Kelly.
Yeah, Lisa Kelly in the house. You know what's so funny? What's so funny is we're talking about all these women anglers. Like, I know who these people are too, just through fishing. Right? You know what I mean? Like, it's amazing, but it's also, it tells you how small this community is, right? Like, but that's what makes it so special, because it's a niche, and like I can go down the street. There's no one that's bass fishing near me, and it's so nice that you see a name pop up, and we all are like, oh, I know Lisa. You know Lisa? I know Lisa. No, you know Lisa? I know Lisa. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, just the relationships you build, whether it be personal, professional. I mean, there's just so much to everything, and kind of going back on sponsors a little bit, I've been in kind of all aspects of it because, at first when I first started getting into it and then seeing, oh yeah, you can try to go for sponsors and all this, and of course, I was still new into everything. I thought, oh, well, maybe I should go after all of these and whatnot. And, thinking that the 10, 15% discount codes for being on the pro staff or whatnot were a big deal and whatnot.
Yeah.
And, and I'm definitely not going to discourage anybody from chasing those. I mean, there's just opportunities that are out there for a lot of people, and then sometimes you just get the shit out of the deal, and you can't get much of anything. So I mean, you got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
But it's also important to really, kind of stop and put the brakes on, be like, whoa, just because everybody else is, a pro staff of this tungsten company or this place or whatever, it's like, okay, like, is this really a deal or what is this? But also, taking a look at, and, if you have, yes, good stepping stone, taking a look at, what products you have been using, you've had good luck with, you could definitely start doing some research on them as well and be like, oh, hey, yeah, like I've been using a Daiwa reel ever since the beginning. Like, I love these guys. Like, I'm going to look into seeing what they might have for sponsorships. And sometimes it's really hard to find, if places like that do. And I'm telling you, some of these bigger companies that sponsor the pros and everything, they won't even blink an eye at like kayak anglers because they have no idea that they were just like a little dot on the spectrum to them.
Yeah, they don't see it.
Yeah,
they don't see it as a market just yet.
Right.
Which that's a whole nother conversation is how, which is like everybody wants to see kayak fishing become a professional sport. Who knows how that happens, but there's got to be a real special breakthrough to some companies that have mucho dinero that say, okay, there is this whole other sub community going on that we have no friggin' idea about. Right? There's a whole nother idea. And it's like, but that makes you think, well, how come it hasn't happened yet? Right. So there's some reasonings we all just don't know about.
Oh yeah.
But
it's starting to happen though.
It'll get there. It'll get there. No doubt about it. Somebody's smart. If I hit Powerball, it'll happen sooner than later. But I have to hit Powerball first. Whatchamacallit. So as you were talking about sponsorships, I'm going to give you got a new position for WFF, right? Sponsorship outreach, right? Or not even sponsorship. What could we call it? Social media.
Oh, yes.
Something. Basically, how to present yourself, right? How to present yourself to sponsors. How to stand out. How to market yourself. Ooh, not that you want to push anybody too fast, but when you should, you start, oh my God, I'm getting so many ideas, Susie. You start like a tier program. Someone that's a novice, they come in and just learn fishing. All right, now you're step 2. This is a new membership, step 2 membership. And that this membership, we're going to teach you some more techniques and how to work your kayak appropriately. And your goal is to get into 5 tournaments this year. Okay. And then tier 3 is a gold membership. And at that membership, we're going to teach you social media presence, marketing, and branding. Boom.
What a great concept.
Right? There you go. I'll take 10%. Okay. And then this is how the WFF is going to get oh my God, I just lost my train of thought. Profitable. And then you all can, whatever. Do what you got to do. But you're totally
great idea.
Oh, that's funny. But I love it. And so what are the plans for this year? So WFF, they'll host a few online events, right?
Yes. So we have a couple different online series. This year, we're going to have different regions for our bass series. And then they're also going to be doing a redfish series.
Very
So,
cool.
yep. Things are going
Nice.
to start kicking off here. I want to say March, but it could be wrong. Don't quote me
Okay.
on that. I haven't been up to date on that part because I've been doing all the
Yeah.
other things.
That's awesome. I love that.
Yeah,
I've had a lot of people reach out to us. Moving forward, we're going to start offering crappie series, redfish
nice,
series. I got
awesome.
people talking about striper series, right,
Yeah,
for us over here. Schoolie stripers, obviously.
yeah.
It still has to fit on a catch board or a box.
Right,
So
yeah.
nothing too big, but that's awesome. And so will all these events be available on the website? So if anybody's watching or whatever, when y'all post it, they go to the website to find out where the event is, and they can go to Tourney X. What do you guys use, Tourney X or Fishing?
So right now we are using Fishing Chaos.
Oh,
They are a partner of
I'm,
ours. I know.
I'm
I
just kidding.
know. Right. Yep. Everybody has their one or the other. But yes, you can go to Fishing Chaos and look on there to sign up for everything.
Okay.
One of the benefits of being a member of the Women's Fishing Federation is once you become a member, then you are also eligible to qualify for AOI points in our
Perfect.
events as well. So, I mean, it's still open to anybody, all of our online events, to any women out there.
Okay.
They're not ready to jump head in first just yet.
Yeah.
But, if they want to try competing against other women online and whatnot, this is the perfect place to get started.
Awesome. I love it. And so, Cheryl, that's a great segue for the Lady Slayers
Yes.
online series. And anybody watching, that all started 4 years ago. I was just like, all right, because when I started Slay Nation, the whole thing was I wanted to be a tournament organization, not just a bass fishing organization, right? And that was a way for us to try to stand out, right? Is that we are just offering tournament opportunities. And so, but of course, it started with bass fishing. And then I really, sometimes I try to look into the market and say, hey, what is there a niche that that we can hit that no one else is really kind of targeting just yet, right? And even though there might be something out there, I didn't know, but I was like, hey, let's offer something for lady slayers, right? And so we did that, and then we did it. We've always did it: bank, kayak, boat, whatever you had to fish in, right? You competed. And then as we grew, we had to divide it up in like bank only series, a boat only series, a kayak only series. And then it evolved to, like regions. Okay. And then it evolved into divisions. And that's what we have now. And this is all based off feedback. We would email our members at the end of the season and say, hey, ladies, what did you like? What did you not like? What do you think we should change? Now, there's good and bad to that, because when you ask 100 people their opinion, you're going to get 5,000 answers. And there's no perfect marriage. There just isn't. There's no perfect way to put it. But I feel like this year, Cheryl, is one of our better combinations of what we're trying to do.
Yeah, we
So
really
let's
took
talk
a lot
about
of
that.
the feedback, and it's funny, we divided into regions this year too, like the WFF. Just ours is north and south, basically.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to seeing how that goes. That seemed to be one point that a lot of the ladies really felt strongly about, to do that, to make that division. Yeah, we have the 3 series within each division: kayak, boat, bank. We do a weekend tournament once a month, May through September, the 5. And you can fish any of the events. Your AOI points will only go to the one that you're basically concentrating in. Like, let's say you mostly fish kayak, your AOI points would go to that, but you're welcome to fish the bank or boat.
Yep.
So
Yeah, exactly.
we're trying to add, we've got a few little perks this year that we're trying out. If you did not place in top 3 or the monster bass, we're doing a raffle maybe a bag of baits. I think we were talking about, Frankie, and then one lady will get free entry into the next
maybe some
event.
heat, maybe some heat your meat.
Nice. Heat meat.
Oh, nice. Maybe
right
used apple juice. I don't know. Oh, here's a trivia question real quick. Since I have it here, it's always next to my computer. And this is a big boat, big bass fishing. Can anybody watching tell me what whistle this is? Won the Bassmaster Classic 1994 and died in a tragic plane crash a few months later. That's a trivia question. Someone can answer it, but anyway, go ahead, Cheryl.
Don't know anything about the bass.
Sideline. Yeah, so that's it. It's a great community of ladies, and I've talked just to a lot of them, ladies just starting out, relatively new to fishing or brand new to tournament fishing, and then there's ladies that have been doing it for quite a while. But it's just such a good community. And we see a lot of the same, like when I fish the WFF events, I see a lot of the same women that are in the Slay Nation. And it's fun. A lot of these ladies that are starting out with these online tournaments are now more comfortable going into maybe a local trail and trying things that way, just growing. So
100%. And I will say the North has some sticks, right? Like Tammy Sanchez out of New Hampshire could freaking
my
fish.
Hero.
Yeah, she can fish. She's our Lady Slayer of the Year last year, or 2023. But she could fish. Like, she's good.
She's amazing.
And that's local too. Like, she live events too. She's good.
Yeah. Very nice, humble.
Yeah, she's a great ambassador for the sport.
Yes.
And that's what it is. It's just about building a community in a safe place. And a lot of the women that have done it like through the years who I've known, and Happy New Year, Merry Christmas emails still, you know what I mean? And it's been really nice just to see everybody growing. And so it's just great that there's a WFF and that the Lady Slayers can offer these opportunities, and there could be some partnership there, right? Like, hey, how do we help each other out? And that's what it's all about. I tell our directors that all the time, like, especially the kayak directors, it's like, hey, you can partner, you could do combined events with other kayak clubs. Like, that's one of the great things about the kayak community. You never really see that in the big boat world. Nothing against it. And I love the big boat world, don't get me wrong, but like the whole, like, two clubs kind of coming together and like kind of doing a joint event, right? You might have like a native watercraft event, for example, happening in X Lake. And then you have that local kayak club and two other local kayak. Now it's this huge event. It's this huge, community of anglers coming together. And that's what's really cool about like the kayak scene, is that that stuff happens quite often, right? Even the John boat scene, like, us little John boaters, and canoers, that happens. And so it's great to be able to see all of this and the connection and the continuity. Like, we're all trying to do the same thing, get people involved, that's what it's all about. And I love it. But yeah, anybody watching, go check out, just go to our website, SlayNationTournamentFishing.com. Go under the Lady Slayers page. You'll see all the information there. You can reach out to Cheryl. We also brought on another like co-director, right?
Yeah, Sarah.
Yeah, Sarah Pendergrass. Do you know Sarah?
Yeah.
Susie, do you know Sarah
That
Pendergrass?
name sounds really familiar.
Okay. She's awesome. She's out of they're out of Maine. Her and Chris are out of Maine. I actually got to meet them at the Mohegan Sun Fishing and Hunting Expo last year. Slay Nation had a booth, but her and Chris were working for Three Bells Outfitters, another kayak retailer here in Connecticut, and I got to meet them. They give the best hugs. I bought 30 or 40 rod sleeves from her. She makes rod sleeves. Yeah, I bought a bunch from her and put those out in some prize packs throughout our clubs. She's Sarah,
very excited. We had a good call with her the other evening, and she's so excited to jump in, lend a hand, just some ideas on how to spread the word, and because we really want to increase membership and get more people involved. And she was making a good point. A lot of women don't consider it, just not understanding, they see a set of a list of rules, all these things, catch board, lines in, lines out.
Yeah.
And it can be overwhelming if you've never done it. So it's just trying to find what's going to be that spark just to get somebody to put a foot in, give it a try. And
we'll have to give away a Gucci bag or a Prada or something. I don't know. Hey, we're fishermen. We got to lure people in. You got to lure them in. Hey,
I'd be more tempted with probably a Dobbins rod or
big bass gets a I don't know, pair of stilettos. Is that where? I was kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just being a jerk right now. But that's a good point. It is. And that's just like with anything. It's like, how do you reach people? How do you reach? And I know with Slay Nation, I know we don't put any, I personally we have not put any money into a marketing. Cause I never really, I was like, whatever. I didn't really care about that. It was like, I'm just going to try to build a brand, but it gets to a point where if you want to expand, you have to start investing in that. Right.
Yeah.
And, I don't push our YouTube. I'm not a content creator. You know what I mean? But it is the next level is, all right, well, how do we reach these people that we want to get to? And you have to start marketing and expanding your horizons, they say.
I did an experiment, was it 2 weeks ago on TikTok? And I'm kind of new to TikTok. I've always focused more on Instagram, but I did a Slay Ladies post and I bought I don't know, do you call it an ad? But I invested $20. They said, you'd reach 4,000.
Oh, yeah.
And I did. I reached like 4,000, but it did absolutely nothing. It didn't get any results.
Yeah, it's tough. That stuff that's a whole different. You know what you got to do, Cheryl? If you're on
everything,
if you're on TikTok, Cheryl, you got to do a dance. You got to do like a lady slayer fish dance or something.
There's a lot of things I need to do. That's one of them I've seen.
I don't know.
A lot of things I got to do. I don't want to do. I think, but
oh my god, I've realized the videos that I've posted of me like. There's 2 videos I posted from Bass Pro Shops. It's me walking into Bass Pro and I see John boats for sale or kayaks or whatever. And I video record it and say, hey, Slayers, look at this. Perfect for the small vessel series or horsepower series. Yeah. And that's it. And they get like the most views other than anything else. And I'm like, is this what people, I guess that's what,
it's,
I don't know.
Right.
That's just me.
Crazy.
I don't know.
So I can kind of attest to that because I am not a consistent poster on TikToker, and I've kind of actually like reduced the amount of posting I do on Facebook, Instagram, or whatnot. But like I've messed around with TikTok a little bit, and I was like, I don't know what people are gonna want and this and that or whatever. And so I was like, I'm just gonna post random stuff. And so little other thing about me is I can curse like a sailor, especially when I get really excited. And I happen to record a experience of me catching a big muskie a couple years back.
Yes.
Right, yeah. And so I was like, I'm just gonna post this on TikTok just for the hell of it. I was like, there will probably only be like 4 people that watch it. God, how many is it now? Like over 400,000 views later. I was like, what just happened? Yeah, it like quote unquote like went viral. I don't really consider that viral though, because I was like, well, shouldn't it be like 1 million if it's viral? I don't know.
Yeah, right.
It was like it blew up overnight, and I was just like, what?
That's what you got to do. That's what you got to do, Susie.
Well, it also, emphasizes, people are saying, oh, well, I spent hours, on this one video thing that I posted. I had to make sure I had the perfect lighting, the perfect this, perfect that. And it had like 5 views, but then you have you just being yourself, doing your thing, and then it goes viral. And so, like, you know, I want to push to people to don't be somebody you're not.
Yes.
Don't be, you know, don't think that you have to have this glorious thing or you have to look a certain way or whatever, you know, like
True.
be you.
Yep.
Do your thing, have your flair in it, and that's what people are going to want to watch. Apparently, people really got a kick out of me cursing like a sailor, saying "holy shit" a whole bunch of times as I'm trying to reel in a muskie.
Oh my
Don't read the comments. Don't read the comments.
Yeah. Well, that's what it's a people like real. People just like real,
Yes.
you know, like, and that's like look at us. I mean, none of us have fancy little podcast, you know, showcases. Like I'm in my basement. That's a service pipe right there. Actually, actually down here behind this wall, I have a service pipe. So like, you know, if your toilet gets clogged in there, I have half of an ugly stick stuck in that because there was a clog and I used a fishing pole. And when I pull, it was a 2-part rod. When I pulled it out, I said, "Where's the other half?" And
that's the best.
It's stuck in. Don't tell my wife.
Normally, I do my podcast in my she shed because I have one. I haven't mustered the energy or the time to go out there in a while. So usually I would be in there, but this is the husband's book room, which we just
okay. He's got a nice little library going. I'll say
that.
Does.
Yeah.
Nice
with some backlighting.
Oh yeah.
Changing lights. But hey, we're at the 1.5 hour mark. I've had so much fun tonight, and I knew this was going to be a fun conversation.
Oh.
I knew it because you both have great personalities. And I know it's getting late. I know I have basketball tomorrow. Yeah, I had basketball tonight. I have basketball again tomorrow. I like working with the little kids, Susie.
Hey, I mean, yeah, at least you know that. Sometimes it's for everybody, sometimes it's not. You know,
100%.
I would like it. First couple years I did. And then the rest of the years after that, I was kind of like, not so much.
Oh, that's so funny. So here's what I want to do to wrap things up. Let's go around the horn. We'll start with our guest of honor here, Susie. Just talk about where people can follow you, follow WFF, get any information, thank any sponsors, whoever you need to thank. And then we'll go to Cheryl and then we'll wrap it up.
Awesome. Facebook, you can find me, Susie Roloff. Just search for me. You'll find me, no problem. I do have like another Facebook page. I haven't been on it in quite a while. It is Adventures with Outdoor Woman, I believe. I haven't posted there.
That's it, Susie.
That's what friends are for.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Instagram, it's Outdoor Woman 84. Same thing with TikTok, Outdoor Woman 84. And then Women's Fishing Federation. So we have a page on Facebook as well. Just look up Women's Fishing Federation. You'll find us on there. And then our website, www.womensfishingfederation.org. Yes. Yep. Thank you. I had to stop and think about that for a second.
.com/org 50/50.
You know. Sponsors. Quest Water Sports with Hobie Fishing, Catch Products, Dubrow Fishing, Kistler Rods, Bassett Baits, and Omnia Fishing.
Ooh, all right.
Nice.
Let's go.
I just started with them last year. I was like, you know what? I'm going to kind of see, I'm like a silver level ambassador. So, I mean, I like posting fishing reports. So I'm very curious about like their ambassador program. So I was like,
good, really good people over there. Really good people.
Yep.
I love them. All right. Excellent. And Cheryl.
Well, the Lady Slayers across the nation is the Facebook, and Ladies Online Series is the Instagram, and of course all that information's on Slay Nation Tournament Fishing, My personal usernames are Where Water Meets Air, and that's Instagram, Facebook. I do a bit of TikTok. I don't do a whole lot of social media, but I am there. Yeah, and thank you so much, Frankie, for
absolutely
creating Lady Slayers. I appreciate it. I know a lot of ladies appreciate it, and
well,
thanks
we
for having
appreciate
us
you.
on. So good to see you, Susie.
Good to see you too, Cheryl.
Yeah, it's great. Well, thank you so much, ladies, for hopping on tonight. Really appreciate it. It was great. Obviously, Cheryl, we'll stay in. We stay in touch, and Susie, let's stay in touch, right?
Yeah.
And if if we can help any way, you just holler, and
Yeah.
we'll do our best. So, to both of you, have a great night, have a great weekend, and
Yes, you too.
till next
Good
time.
night.
All right. Thanks, Frankie.
All right, you're welcome. Thank you. All right, y'all. There it is. What a great show. That was fun. So thank you all for tuning in. Again, go check out the Women's Fishing Federation.org. And then also go check out our website, SlayNationTournamentFishing.com, for any of the Lady Slayer information. Also, don't forget about all of our regular live events, our small vessel series, kayak series, and horsepower series, and the National Online Team Slot Series. Go check out that. Remember, if you sign up by May 1st, you'll get your Slay Nation jersey. Okay. Tomorrow, we want to wish all of our Georgia Slay Nation Small Vessel Series Slayers a safe and successful opening event for our 2024 season. And if you need anything, just holler at us. We appreciate y'all. And stay tuned for next week's guest, which I'll post on Monday or Tuesday. It's going to be a really cool one. And as always, peace, love, and together we slay. Ciao, y'all.